Today, we're going to talk about something you probably never think about, but it protects you every single day. And believe it or not, it all started with a pair of underpants.
Yeah, can a pair of underpants really change the law? It sounds kind of crazy, right? Well, the answer is a big, resounding yes. And the story behind it, wow. It's got a doctor, a really, really bad rash, and a legal idea that you and I count on every single time we go shopping.
All right, picture this. We're jumping back in time to Australia, 1936. A doctor, his name's Grant, goes out and buys a couple pairs of woolen long johns. Pretty normal stuff. But then, after he wears them, he gets this awful case of dermatitis. Turns out the underwear had this hidden chemical irritant just lurking in the fabric from when it was made. So what does he do? He sues the manufacturer, Australian Knitting Mills. And this, right here, is where everything kicks off.
Okay, so this is where we need to understand a key piece of the puzzle. It's called a latent defect. It's a fancy legal term, but all it really means is a hidden flaw, something you just couldn't find with a normal lookover. Dr. Grant couldn't see the chemical in the underwear. And the fact that the problem was invisible, that was absolutely crucial to this whole case.
And that brings us to another big word, negligence. Look, this is really just about one thing, responsibility. Was the company careless? Did they fail to do what any reasonable person would do to make sure their product was safe? Dr. Grant's lawyers, they were basically shouting, yes, they were absolutely negligent. So this is the real head-scratcher the court had to deal with. Think about it. Dr. Grant didn't buy the underwear from the factory, he bought it from a store. The defect was hidden, so who's to blame? Who's on the hook for the harm that was caused? Back in the 30s, this was a huge, murky, gray area in the law. Nobody was quite sure. So how on earth did the judges figure this one out? Well, they actually looked back at a case from just a few years earlier in the UK. It's a super famous one. People call it the snail in the bottle case. Seriously. And that case had already said that manufacturers owe a duty, a responsibility, to the final person who uses their product. The judges in Dr. Grant's case looked at that and thought, aha, that's it. That's the precedent we need. And boom, this is the moment. The verdict comes down and it changes everything. The court makes this totally groundbreaking decision. They said that manufacturers are liable for injuries caused by these hidden defects. This was massive. It basically slammed shut that legal loophole and drew a direct line of responsibility from the factory right to your house. And what this did was it created this hugely important legal idea called the manufacturer's duty of care. It's actually a pretty simple concept, but it's so powerful. It just means that companies have a basic, fundamental job to make sure their products are safe for the people who actually end up using them. It doesn't matter if you bought it directly from them or from a corner store, they still have a duty to you. Now, the company didn't just give up. They tried one last desperate argument. They basically said, hey, wait a minute, maybe someone messed with the underwear after it left our factory. But you know what? The court saw right through that. They basically said, nope, a mere theoretical possibility isn't a get-out-of-jail-free card. And with that, they shut down that excuse for good. Okay, so let's bring it back to today. Why are we talking about itchy underwear from almost a century ago? Why does this matter to you? Well, because this case is the bedrock of the trust you have in pretty much everything you buy. It's why companies are held accountable for safety. It's what protects you from dangerous products. It's literally the foundation of our modern consumer rights, and it's the reason you can walk into a store and just trust that what you're buying isn't going to hurt you. And that really leaves us with one final thing to think about. I mean, from the medicine in your cabinet to the car you drive your family in to the food on your table, this duty of care is everywhere, protecting you in ways you don't even notice. So just think about it for a second. What products do you use every single day, completely trusting them to be safe, all because a doctor way back in 1936 fought a legal battle over a bad pair of underpants?